Welcome to the Daily WIP, where we discover that everyone is a media company. On the show today, we talk about how to work with clients, we talk about how we organized 1 million videos, and we talk to Hayley about Wipster Weekly. This morning, spoke to 2 of our customers about working with their clients. Something really interesting came up. They're trying to organize their workflows through all sorts of software platforms like Us and Basecamp and Box and all these things. And what's coming up over and over again is that people are looking for just the absolute simplest way of just communicating with other people. Just don't let the software get in the way. Don't let any of these things get in the way. Just let it augment what you already want to do. So imagine if you were just in a village in, I don't know, 5,000 years ago, right? And the village's got 125 people in it. And everything that happens is within those 125 people, and you know all your neighbors and everything, you know where the water well is and all that stuff. Everything's very simple, and there's a pretty easy, straightforward way to work together. Fast forward to 2017, 7 billion people, you're working in different time zones, you've got the sun going down right now, but you're probably watching this and the sun's coming up. There's different animals, there's all sorts of things going. I don't know what the animals mean, but there's different animals. And you're then having to augment what you actually want to do from 5,000 years ago into today, and you're using all this different sorts of software. So what they were saying was that we just want to work with our clients and we just want to have no friction. And the thing that seems to make it bad for them or bad for the clients is when there is just something that just makes it slightly irksome, and then that can just turn into almost like when you have a what are those things called? Oyster. A little bit of grit, and then it turns into this annoyingly huge, luscious pearl. But it starts with a little bit of grit, and it keeps working around it. All these little bits of friction. So the key thing that I learned from the calls this morning was saying, to get this relationship going well with your clients, and this is basically internal stakeholders if you work in a huge company, or your external clients if you're a vendor or a production company or an agency, is make sure that all those little points that could turn into friction, just make sure that those are dealt with. And you know, products can do it. Wipster helps a lot of people get rid of all sorts of things around the review area. But just make sure that any little point that looks like a point of friction, hit it real hard, because it will always bloom out, and it will take up so much of your time, so much of your energy. And it's like when we were talking to the TV studio the other day, and they were saying, just organize your day exactly the same. If you want to create daily content, do it exactly the same every day, so it allows space for the creativity to live. Otherwise you spend all your energy trying to fix little problems with scheduling and everything. So any of those little nubbins where it's going slightly wrong with these clients, just fix those really fast. Even if you have to stop doing something else, fix that before it blooms, and you've lost everything, and you've lost all the creative ability, and you've also lost the relationship. So that's just a little tip on how to work with clients. Today we're going to be talking about organizing 1 million videos.
Great.
Right? So Will is the CTO here, head of everything that actually means anything to do with, does the thing actually work? Does Wipster actually work? Will makes it actually work.
Yeah.
So when we think about subfolders coming out, and we've got 1 million videos on a database, and they've got the ability to organize them a little bit, you know, we've got org tables, they've got their company, they've got projects and everything. What does it mean for complexity of them now having limitless subfolders? They can do subfolder inception.
Yeah.
What does that mean technology-wise?
It's actually simpler than you might think.
Really?
So from a data structure perspective, you've got a table in the database that's just a folder entry, so one entry per folder, and you've got one column on that data set that's just what is my parent folder ID. So every folder has an ID, and then if you create a subfolder on the UI, that will be another entry in that table, and you'll say its parent is X.
Right.
And then it just keeps going down and down and down. And so it's sort of recursively down, down, down. You know, the ID becomes the next child, which becomes the next parent, which becomes the next child. Yeah. And so from a representational standpoint, it's quite straightforward.
That's actually pretty straightforward. Because it just comes across as complex to me. Yeah. But it's actually simple. So, I mean, in the first iteration of what we've done with subfolders is that you can't share a subfolder with other people outside of your team, other than people in your team with a URL.
Correct.
And you can't sort of turn it into like a project within a project at this stage.
Right.
But we're going to move towards that, right? We're going to move towards the idea of having it so that you can create maybe an overarching project for, say, a department in your company or a customer, and within it you can then have those separate things, add people to it, and then when things get added, they get told.
Yeah.
And so just tell me about the complexity of that. Say it's 7 folders deep, and you've added 7 people to that, but only 3 people to the one above.
Yes.
What's going on here?
Now you're getting to the complex part.
Yes.
So that's where all like the permutations and edge cases and like security aspects come into the picture. So it's how do you have that tree of your top level down, and I want to invite, like you said, 7 people to this one, but that's a child of a folder that I don't really want to have people to have permission to, and so that will take some thought, because it won't be something we can just rush out and then have problems where people are seeing stuff that they shouldn't see, and it's sort of managing that privacy risk.
How seriously do we take privacy here?
Oh, extremely seriously. That's the sort of thing that definitely keeps me up at night. Whether it's the fact that we encrypt all of our videos at rest and everything is over SSL, we just take it very seriously to make sure that clients who are working with either sensitive material or just stuff that they don't want to be accidentally released, it's crucial to us.
So instead of talking about it, let's have a look at a video of how this thing works. We'd just like to say we're sorry. You've uploaded over 1 million videos to Wipster, you've reviewed them, you've approved them, and it's turned into this. But as of today, we're launching subfolders, so it's going to turn into this. With subfolders, you can share a folder with someone in your team. You can move creative assets from one folder to another. And you can even put subfolders inside subfolders. Subfolders are available right now, so go and organize all of your stuff. Creativity has never felt so good. That was a fun video to make, and you did pretty well.
Thank you.
So I think you sort of reminiscent of early John Wayne.
Really?
Yeah. Early John Wayne.
Yeah. Okay. Next time I'll
early John Wayne before he.
I see. I catch
before he was an actor. I joke. Up next, we're going to talk with Hayley about Wipster Weekly.
Hello, welcome to another Wipster Weekly recap. It was sent this morning or yesterday, whatever you're reading. So we have our 4 usual articles in one video. First up, we had 27 do's and don'ts for Facebook Live, which is one that we produced. Number 1 tip for you right now: do not do a video under 10 minutes. Facebook serves more notifications to more people if it's over 10 minutes. And make sure that you do promote it at least 2 hours before you actually go live. So that gives people time to get involved with the live video. All right, 2 tips, but there's 25 more. Okay. Secondly, we have does VR have a problem, which seems to be one of the more popular ones this week. It discusses how companies shouldn't just use VR for cool stuff. It can actually be used as an interactive experience to gather more data from possible customers, special names, more information, studies, surveys, that kind of stuff. So don't just use it as a boring old video. Then we have stylize your storytelling with character title cards. So this is kind of like a filmmaking one where it goes through the do's and don'ts of successful and unsuccessful title cards. So for example, comic book ones are quite familiar, where the character comes up on screen and then it stops and then there's like the Hulk, blah 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 blah, and it kind of explains who he is. Unsuccessful ones are ones that don't even say anything new or interesting, that just say he shoots guns and then you don't actually see the gun that he shoots or something. It's just lame. A good example of that would be Suicide Squad. They have terrible title cards apparently. Then the video for this week is called Hand Fart. And it's like a dramedy, like a drama comedy. I giggled and then felt guilty about it. So it's quite an interesting concept. The last 30 seconds are probably the funniest, and they include a guy just crying for 30 seconds. So I don't really know how to feel about that personally, but it was great. Then we had obviously our massive subfolders launch in the little blurb up the top. So if you're a Wipster customer, make sure you check that out and organize your stuff now. There's also global search, Jimmy, shout out for your hard work, and a new UI update as well. So check that blog out.
And who stars in the video?
Me! I'm like, I'm the title picture and everything. It's rather embarrassing. Serious, like, disgruntled face going. And one of the controversial articles, I've just been having a conversation with Rollo about it today, is one called Control the Conversation with Disruptive Video Storytelling. And it's one of the more popular ones this week. And Rollo has a bone to pick with it, and he's going to tell me about it right now.
I'm off shop, but I'm going to harass you about it.
So the general concept of this particular article is that, I'll read the little blurb, shall I? Some brands have blossomed into household names due to their use of disruptive storytelling, e.g. Uber, Airbnb. Today, with the speed in which word travels online, it's easier than ever to do this via video. So their idea is that they're using video to disrupt things or to project their disruptive story.
Yeah, so I think that the issue that I have with this article is that their business model is disruptive, right? So if you're Uber, you are in an enormous market of just taxis, and you come along with a different business model, and you take their customers off them, so you disrupt their market.
Yes.
Airbnb comes in and goes, instead of sitting there and jumping into a hotel room, you're going to jump into someone's house. So the stock already exists, we don't have any overheads because we don't have to buy any buildings, and we've got a new way of you being able to rent them off them, right? And so I have a bit of a bone to pick with the concept that their video strategy is disruptive. All they're doing is telling stories about how their business model is disruptive. And I don't think that their video strategy is disruptive. It's just talking about it. And so one of the things you were saying was that videos like the Airbnb one or the Dollar Shave Club one is a disruptive video because it talks about the market wanting something else. And that, by the way, this is potentially the solution to it.
Yeah.
But that's just sales.
You're right. Well, yeah, their point is their point is that the video has this story thread about disruption. So this is the old way, this is the new way, here's our solution. So the argument is that their video shares that story, which goes, so control the conversation with disruptive video storytelling. So I wouldn't say the video is disruptive per se, but it shares the disruptive story.
But it's not even disruptive storytelling. Like, disruptive storytelling would be there's something in the style of the storytelling that is disruptive. Like, it disrupts you as a human in the way the story was told. And then, by the way, it's also about this other thing. That just happens to be a disruptive business model. Like, I think it's over-egging it. It's just storytelling. It's just sales.
It's just like an explainer of sorts.
That's right, And just happens that business has got a disruptive business model to the market because it took the market from someone else by being basically 10 times better, which is what all startups are trying to do. You know? Yeah.
Wow. So, end of that story is read the article in Whips the Weekly and let us know what you think. Do you agree with the article writer that these are examples of video storytelling that shares a disruptive message, or are you with Rollo and they're just literally it's just a sales video? So let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below.
Perhaps we'll even harass the writer.
Yeah, we should talk to Vidyard and see how...
Get them on the show and ask them what they mean by it.
Yeah,
cool.
That's a cool idea. Otherwise, thank you for listening to me and Rollo talk about another day or another week of Whips the Weekly. I'll see you next week. Subscribe to Whips the Weekly in the link below. Thanks.
Thanks, Hayley. That was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
So now I think the show's over. Do you know this is episode 10?
That's amazing.
We actually made it to episode 10. I think the production quality's gone up, the audio's quality's gone down, the quality of the guests has gone up. I mean, we've got John Wayne as a younger man here.
That's right.
And so to celebrate episode 10, we're now going to go down to the pub. So we'll bring you along to show you where we go to the pub. But yeah, we'll see you next week and enjoy subfolders.
It's got to progress. No?
Yes.
That's
Well, it's a thread, right? And the thread has to have a journey.
so much stuff out there that anyone can be watching, and if they don't want to choose to watch this and follow the thread and be entertained and learn some stuff, then it's not going to get the traction that we'd like.
Yeah. But
it keeps us on our toes. We've got to learn as we go, you know?
But also to be interested in doing it.
Yeah.
If it's not progressing for you as the maker of it, you're probably going to get bored of it, you know? So it all just ties together.
Yeah, and when's that moment where it kind of all clicks and who gets bored first?
Who gets bored first? He's done it. Oh, they've gone inside.
Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
Here comes Struggle.
Oh, it's pretty dark.